All right, good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. We are about to start the dual meet of Shenango Forks versus Susquehanna Valley boys varsity swimming.
Today's varsity competition will be between the Shenango Forks Blue Devils and the Susquehanna Valley Sabres. Susquehanna Valley is coached by Teresa Stepler. They will be swimming in lanes 1, 3, and 5. Shenango Forks is coached by head coach Ken Starr and diving coach Kelly Hillis. And they will be swimming in lanes 2, 4, and 6. Captains are Brendan Heaney, Caleb McPeak, and Evan O'Brien. And here they are, your reigning Class C champions, Shenango Forks Blue Devils Varsity Swim Team.
All right, here come the Blue Devils varsity swim team walking out onto the deck, coached by Ken Starr and Kelly Hillis, with captains Evan O'Brien, Caleb McPeak, and Brendan Heaney. Again, tonight's competition is versus the Susquehanna Valley Sabres, who will walk out in just a moment.
Before we stand for the national anthem, please listen to the following New York State announcement. The New York State Public High School Athletic Association requires officials to enforce all sportsmanship rules for athletes and coaches. We will not tolerate negative statements or actions between opposing players, especially trash talking, taunting, or baiting of opponents. If such comments are heard or actions seen, a penalty will be assessed immediately. We've been instructed not to issue warnings. Let's tonight's contest reflect mutual respect. Would you please rise and stand for a national anthem to be sung by our own John Hazempa.
So here's John Hazempa, Shenango Forks Jr., singing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the guns bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Great job, John. All right, the first event will be the 200-yard medley relay. In this event, both teams will have teams of 4 swimmers at a time, completing the concurrent different strokes. The order in this relay is backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, and freestyle. There is no team for Susquehanna Valley in lane 1. In lane 2 for Shenango Forks, we've got Cal Doig swimming backstroke, Liam Humphrey swimming breaststroke, Jacob Zidell swimming butterfly, and Cooper Confer swimming freestyle. In lane 3 from Susquehanna Valley, we have Jack swimming backstroke, Anthony swimming breaststroke, Trent swimming butterfly, and Willem swimming freestyle. In lane 4 from Shenango Forks, it's Evan swimming backstroke, Aiden breaststroke, Landon butterfly, and Caleb freestyle. Lane 5 from Susquehanna Valley, Chad swimming backstroke, Cody swimming breaststroke, Mark swimming butterfly, and Benjamin swimming freestyle. And in lane 6 from Shenango Forks, it's Conway swimming backstroke, Emerson swimming breaststroke, John swimming butterfly, and Ethan swimming freestyle. So we will start with the backstrokers in the water. They are going to do 50 yards, which is down and back, and then upon their completion of that segment of the race, the breaststrokers will dive off the blocks and start their leg. When the race is off with Cal Doig in the early lead from Shenango Forks in lane 4. Great underwaters from him, so you see him go underneath, stay under, and be able to really get an advantage. That's actually Evan O'Brien. The top of your screen is wrong. That's Captain Evan O'Brien in lane 4 there, off to an early lead. Next to him in lane 2 is Cal Doig. So looks like we had some last minute changes that are not reflected at the top of your screen. We do have Aiden Hopkins in breaststroke taking off in first place right now for Shenango Forks. Chasing him in lane 2 from Shenango Forks is Liam Humphrey. We also have breaststrokers in the water for both Forks and Sus Valley up in lanes 5 and 6. Aiden coming in strong right now to the wall. Going after him is Landon Getz, about to do 50 yards of butterfly, and Jacob Zidell in lane 2 also doing 50 yards of butterfly. There's a clean exchange. We've got Emerson coming in up in lane 6 for Shenango Forks. Diving off the blocks is new 8th grader on the team, John Figueroa, in his first varsity appearance. We'll see how he does here. He's doing butterfly for the team. Susquehanna Valley in lane 5 starting the butterfly leg, and in lane 3 starting the breaststroke leg. Oh, also the butterfly leg, excuse me. And it's Caleb McPeak finishing freestyle in lane 4. Nice flip turn from him. And as soon as he's on the wall, that's going to be the end of the race for lane 4 with Shenango Forks. Down in lane 2, we also have a swimmer from Shenango Forks. That's Cooper Confer wrapping up the race down there, going very quickly. A nice split from Cooper. And they're on the wall, first and second with Shenango Forks. Susquehanna Valley starting the last legs of both relays in lanes 3 and 5, doing freestyle. Again, that's Willem in lane 3 and Ben in lane 5, Benjamin. That's Shenango Forks on the wall in lane 6 with Ethan Austin. Susquehanna Valley's lane 3 relay is complete, and here comes lane 5 with all 4 teams finishing the race. Shenango Forks finishing in first with a final time of 1:54:53. Great job, gentlemen. With that, we jump into our second event, which is the 200-yard freestyle, another event with 200 yards in it. This time, it will be one swimmer swimming all 8 laps by themselves, all freestyle. No swimmer from Susquehanna Valley in lane 1. Every other lane is filled.
Second place, Shenango Forks. And in first place, with a time of 1:54:53 from Shenango Forks, the team of Evan, Aiden, Landon, and Caleb.
That was Shenango Forks in first place in the 200 medley relay with a team of Evan O'Brien, Aiden Hopkins, Landon Getz, and Caleb McPeak.
Our next event will be the 200-yard freestyle. Swimming in lane 2 from Shenango Forks.
This time, we've got Dominic Belcom in lane 2. Lane 3 is Acadian in Susquehanna Valley. Lane 4, Aiden from CF. Lane 5, Eli from Susquehanna Valley. And lane 6, Thomas from Shenango Forks. The 3 swimmers in this race from Shenango Forks all have a little bit of distance experience under their belts. So in this race, Ideally, it's swam at a sprint. Now, that is certainly much easier said than done. Sprinting for 2 minutes is a grueling task at best, similar to the 800-meter race in track, if you've ever run that. A lot of swimmers new to this event tend to, instead of sprinting the whole thing, try to find a pace that they can sustain. But at the upper level, such as for swimmer Aiden Hopkins in lane 4, he's going to try to push the pace of all 450s of this race and try to finish the race in as close to 2 minutes as he can. A really competitive time is anything close to or under 2 minutes. Meanwhile, in lane 6 and lane 4, you've got two Shenango Forks swimmers still in the race, as well as Susquehanna Valley doing well down in lane 3 and in lane 5. Again, it's Acadian in lane 3 and Elijah in lane 5 from Susquehanna Valley. Aiden already halfway through this race at just under a minute, 59.06. So if he can hold that speed, he'll be right over 2 minutes after you count for the fact that he goes a little faster off the start from the blocks. His arms are slowing down just a little bit, but otherwise showing a lot of good signs, high energy still keeping his feet going. We've got a close race between lane 6's Thomas Kapanis and lane 2's Dom Belcom. Now, they're far enough apart that they may not be able to clearly see each other, but they are within a second of each other right now. So that one may come down to the wire to see the competition for second place. Aiden Hopkins starting his last 50, off to a powerful burst here. He's got to just finish this race. This is his last set of 50s. Okay. Thomas off the wall a little bit ahead of Dominic out in lane 6 there. Susquehanna Valley coming in for one more to 50 for lane 3's Acadian. And in lane 5, Eli's doing well as well. He's got just over 50 yards left. Aiden Hopkins, a very respectable time of 2:05. You like to see that at this point about mid-season. We're going to keep chipping away at that conditioning during practices throughout the season, and with a good shave and taper, hope to get that down closer to 2 minutes or below at the sectional competition. It was Thomas Kapanis up in lane 6 with a second place finish, trailed closely by Dom Belcom in lane 2 with a third place finish. Just under 2 seconds behind Thomas there. We do have Susquehanna Valley finishing with Acadian in lane 3 right now. He's wrapping up his race. Gonna finish right around 2:48 maybe. Good strong finish into the wall. Okay. See if that time shows up on our timing system in just a minute. And Eli, really strong finish from him here. Big kicks, fast arms coming into that wall. Up there in lane 5 for Susquehanna Valley. Great work. Let's see if we get a backup time shown up on the board there for lane 3. Might have been something wrong with the timing system. That time of 3:23 is certainly not correct. It was around 2:48, 2:49, somewhere in that region. So sit tight, that may be updated for us in just a moment here up here on the board. Still just waiting on that time for lane 3. They'll get the backup timer over to our timing table, or they may put it in the system. Maybe we'll be able to see it up there on the board. But again, it was probably around 2:48, 2:49.
Second, Tom from Shenango Forks. And first place with a winning time of 2:05.28. Aiden from Shenango Forks.
These are our final results from the 200 freestyle. So the next event will be the 200-yard individual medley. No swimmer in lane 1. We've got Jack in lane 2 from Forks, Anthony in lane 3 from Sus Valley, Landon, lane 4 from Forks, Jack in lane 5 from Susquehanna Valley, and Jacob Zidell, lane 6, Shenango Forks. In this event, it's another 200-yarder. We've got the 5 swimmers, each doing 150 of the 4 different individual events, the 4 different competitive strokes. They do have to do a specific order, starting with butterfly. And then from butterfly, they'll do backstroke, then breaststroke, and then freestyle. So a slightly different order than the medley relay, just because the medley relay needs to start with the backstroker in the water, so you put that up front. Is the individual event, you're swimming it by yourself, so you're already in the water, so you can transition right from butterfly to backstroke. Landon is going to get disqualified here, still doing butterfly over there in lane 4. Hasn't realized it yet, but Jack Vavra, that's all right. Jack Vavra down in lane 2 doing well with his backstroke. Same with Jacob Zidell out in lane 6 with his backstroke. Landon still doing butterfly. He'll figure this out in a minute when he goes to do his turn halfway through this race at 100 yards. I mean, he's in the 100 butterfly later, so I think he's just in that zone. Oh, now he's doing the backstroke. Probably a little more tired than he normally is at this point in the race, seeing as he just did 4 laps of butterfly instead of the required 2. That's all right. It's a fun moment we'll laugh about after the meet. Meanwhile, in second place in lane 3, we have Anthony DeRosa from Susquehanna Valley. Jack holding on to him with his breaststroke in lane 2. And Jacob Zidell out in lane 6, also staying in this race. All right, Landon's now realizing his mistake. Sort of just deciding how he wants to finish the race, knowing that he swam 50 yards too many butterfly. Just rolling onto his front for the freestyle. He's going to get disqualified in this event. Doesn't really matter at this point, but I'll figure it out afterwards. In the heat of the moment, a lot of times swimmers make mistakes like this, starting this race with the wrong stroke or doing too many yards of one stroke. This event is certainly the peak of technical difficulty for a varsity swim meet. You have to do all 4 strokes competitively, as well as knowing 3 very unique turns to switch from one stroke to the other. Anthony finishing in first with the disqualification in lane 4 from Susquehanna Valley. Jack Vavra in second. Jacob Zidell in third. And it will be Jack from Susquehanna Valley coming in fourth here. Landon's teammates giving him a little friendly flack from the sideline there. He's laughing about it. You like to see the little good sportsmanship, a handshake under the lane line from the Forks and Susquehanna Valley swimmers. And moving on to the next event, the 50-yard freestyle. This event is all about sprint speed. Here's the results from the IM. Third place, Jacob Zidell, Forks. Second place, Jack Vavra, Forks. First place, Anthony DeRosa, Susquehanna Valley. Disqualified, Landon, Shenango Forks. We also had Jack from Susquehanna Valley in fourth place there, earning some points for his team. So up next, we've got 3 heats of the 50-yard freestyle. This event is a sprint down and back. It all comes down to a good start off the blocks, a good flip turn at the other end, and a good finish. Everything else between the flags is just swimming as fast as you can. And then you add in good execution from the start, turn, and finish, and you'll have a good 50 freestyle. So we've got in heat 1 of 3, we're doing this race 3 times. Paxton in lane 1, Alex in lane 2, Tyler in lane 3, Matt Kosak in lane 4, and Will in lane 6. No swimmer in lane 5. They're off to the beginning of the race. It is worth pointing out that no matter what the results of the first and second heat of this event, none of it counts for points. It's what we call exhibition. So these swimmers have the opportunity to swim for best times, get practice in, get the experience racing, but even if they beat someone in the final heat of this event, their performances outside of the final heat does not count for points. So that's a good time from Matt Kosak, 28.6. Alex Chapman and Will Austin on the wall simultaneously in lanes 2 and 6 as well, both around 35 seconds. And we do have Susquehanna Valley's swimmers finishing in lanes 1 and 3 as well, both around 41, 42 seconds. So a nice quick race, 50 yards down and back. And with that, we're moving right on to heat number 2. This one will have Caleb in lane 1 from Susquehanna Valley, Corey Pospisil lane 2, Shenango Forks, Mason lane 3, Susquehanna Valley. That's Mason from Susquehanna Valley in lane 3, Aiden Wood lane 4 for Shenango Forks, Shaughnessy in lane 5 from Susquehanna Valley, and Conway in lane 6 from Shenango Forks.
Lane 5, Shaughnessy from SV, and lane 6, Conway from Shenango Forks.
Another heat of the exact same race, 50 yards down and back as fast as you can. Now we do expect the heats to get a little bit faster every round. So if last heat had swimmers in the low 40s, we'll maybe see some more swimmers finish in the 30s this time around. Off with that intention is Conway Mallory up there in lane 6, the outside surprise, winning this race with 30 flat. It's Aiden Wood in lane 4. In second place, Susquehanna Valley swimmer in lane 1. In third place, that's Caleb Thompson. Fourth, Susquehanna Valley, lane 5, Shaughnessy. Fifth place, lane 3, Susquehanna Valley. That would be Mason. And finally, Corey Pospisil, lane 2, Shenango Forks. Up next, the final heat of the boys' 50-yard freestyle. This one's for keeps. The swimmers will all sprint down and back. An event typically finished by some swimmers in the low to mid 20 seconds in the final heat of this event. You do have senior and captain Caleb McPeak in lane 4, but not letting him get away with an easy win. John Cadden will surely be chasing him in lane 2 from Shenango Forks. We have Tommy Hillis up in lane 6, previously a stroke swimmer and in the IM, but recently found a new home in the 50 freestyle for Shenango Forks as a sprinter. Meanwhile, from Susquehanna Valley in lane 1, you have Alexander, lane 3, Willem, and lane 5, Jack. Uh-oh. I'm realizing we may have a locked up screen here. Excuse me. Oh no, we're going to miss some of this event. Let's see if we can get this refreshed. Well, sorry to miss that. The feed froze up here, but we do have John Cadden on the wall first with an incredible time of 23.7. Chased down by Caleb McPeak, 23.9. Sorry, we are working on getting our devices up and running again here, but this may just take a moment. Gotta love some good old technical difficulties.
Okay, so it's the 50-yard freestyle. In fifth, Jack from SV. Fourth, Tommy from Shanghai Forks. Third, Wilhelm from SV. Second, Caleb from Shanghai Forks. And the winner with a time of 23:78, John from Shanghai Forks.
All right, as we troubleshoot this, we're just going to swap the cameras here. Get the timing system feed onto the main feed for us here. Get that definitely set up a little better for you in just a second. As we're fixing this, it's just going to be warming up for diving. Zoom out there. A little bit of an older camera, but it's working. While we figure out what's going on with the other one here. So, let's see. Alright, there's a view of the pool for now. Again, we'll try to get this set up optimally again in just a moment here. There's a view of the pool. Let's work on getting that other camera online. So for a few minutes here, we are just going to have some warm-ups for diving. Nothing scored for the first several minutes here. Just divers running through their different dives for tonight. We have Matt Kosak from Shenango Forks and Brendan Samsel from Shenango Forks diving tonight. Anyway, sorry for the missed race there, but we had, let me get you some results here. Finishing first place in lane 2 from Shenango Forks, John Cadden, final time 23:78. Finishing second from Shenango Forks, Caleb McPeak, final time 23:95. Finishing third from Susquehanna Valley, Willem in lane 3. Finishing fourth from Shenango Forks, Tommy Hillis. Finishing fifth from Susquehanna Valley, lane 5, Jack. And finishing sixth, Susquehanna Valley, lane 1, Alex.
Okay, our next event will be the 1 meter diving. We have two swimmers, or two divers from Shenango Forks. First one up will be Matt. His first dive of the night will be a 302C reverse, one somersault from the tuck position. Degree of difficulty 1.6.
All right, so starting off diving, our first diver is Matt Kosak from Shenango Forks. He will be alternating dives with Brendan Samsel. Matt's first dive is a reverse somersault, a 302C. It's going to be in the tuck position. That first number, the 3, designates that the dive is a reverse. 1 is front, 2 is back, 3 is reverse, 4 is inward. The second number and the third number have to do with how many rotations Matt's doing, with each number added being half of a rotation. So a 302 is 2 half rotations, so a full somersault. Brendan is doing a 301. So again, the 3 at the start, meaning a reverse, the 1 rotation, so just a dive, and the A, meaning it's in straight position. This is senior Brendan Sampson. Great work, Brendan. We are going to adjust that a lot. There we go. 7, 4.5, 4.5. A little bit of a discrepancy between the judges, what they thought of that dive. That's all right. Matt Kosak up next. 103C, which is a front 1.5 somersaults. Tucked position. And that C means a tucked position.
1.5 somersaults from the tuck position. Degree of difficulty 1.6.
Great dive from Matt. Actually over-rotated a little bit because he's certainly ready to do a double somersault. Judges will give him a 5.5, a 5, and a 5.
Brendan's second dive of the night will be a 304C.
Brendan up second.
2 somersaults from the tuck position.
304C, so this is a reverse double somersault. Moving forward, flipping backwards, 2 full somersaults this time around. Very nicely done from Brendan. Really knows how to ride that board up high. The judges are going to think so too. 6.5, 6.5, and 6. Great work, Brendan. Matt's third dive. 5121B. So that 5 at the beginning means there's actually twisting involved. So this is a front 1 somersault with a half twist.
Difficulty 1.7.
Judges' scores are 5, 5, and a 4.5.
Brendan's third dive of the night will be a
Brendan's third
52-11
dive.
A.
52-11. This is his twist dive. It's a back dive and a half twist in the straight position.
Difficulty 1.7.
Very nicely done from Brendan. Scores are 6, 6.5, 5.5.
Matt's fourth dive of the night will be a 202C. Back, one somersault from the tuck position.
Matt's fourth dive, back somersault,
1.5.
tuck position. Starting on the end of the board, doing a backflip. Well done, Matt. Judges will give him a 5, 5.5, and 5. Brendan's fourth dive is a back double somersault, 204C, tuck position.
Tuck position, degree of difficulty 2.0.
Very clean dive from Brendan. Judges will give him a 5, 5.5, and 5. Matt's penultimate dive will be a 401C. This is an inward dive in the tuck position. So starting on the end of the board, flipping towards the board instead of flipping backwards. Judges will give him a 5.5, 5.5, and a 6. Good work, Matt. Brendan's penultimate dive will be a 104C. This is a front double somersault in the tuck position.
Degree of difficulty 2.2.
Brendan, no stranger to these higher degree of difficulty dives. Brendan is a senior this year for Shenango Forks. Our other dive, Matt Kosak, just a freshman and new to diving. He did not dive as a modified swimmer. So doing quite well for himself considering he's had very little experience compared to Brendan. Brendan comes out a little bit late, over rotates there again. Not too far from being able to throw a 2.5 for himself, maybe in the future by the end of the season. Judges will give him 5, 5, and 5 for that. Matt's final dive of the evening, 402C. This is an inward somersault in the tuck position. Matt's been able to do some double somersaults at practice, but it's just cleaning them up before he's doing them in a meet like Brendan is. So right now he'll be just doing a single somersault. He could do 1.5 as the inward, but going to single gives himself plenty of time to get out of that, straighten up, stand that dive up, and the judges will give him 5.5, 5.5, and 5 and 1/2. Great work. Brendan's final dive. 403C, inward 1.5 in the tuck position.
Degree of difficulty 2.2.
While the scores that the judges give are certainly important, they also get multiplied by a factor called degree of difficulty. So Brendan's experience, while he's scoring similarly to Matt in a lot of these dives, his experience allows him to do higher degree of difficulties, which means his overall score will be a little higher tonight. So 1.5 from Brendan. Five, and five from the judges. That concludes diving. Nice and quick tonight. We will now have a 10-minute intermission. We will mute the audio during that time, hopefully get some visual issues fixed with the cameras, and be back for the 100-yard butterfly in 10 minutes. See you then. All right, we are back live and with one camera working right now, but we've got it centered on the pool. We won't have a timing system for you unless I can get something magical figured out here, but we do have continuing technical difficulty. So let's switch this over to the 100-yard butterfly. That is the next race for tonight's meet. We've got Jacob Zidell, lane 2, Jack, Susquehanna Valley, lane 3, Landon Getz, lane 4, actually doing 100 butterfly this time instead of 100 butterfly in the 2 IM. Eli Valentine, lane 5, and again, 8th grader making his varsity debut, John Figueroa, down there in lane 6. For John, this is going to be an experiment in pacing. Having never swam this race at the 100-yard distance before, he's certainly a capable butterfly at the modified level, and now he just needs to sort of learn where he's allowed to spend energy without running out of gas before the end of this race. So, off to a good start. Splits 29-5 for Landon, 31-5 for Jacob, 33-2 for John Figueroa. In lane 3, a split of 42 seconds. Uh-oh. We've locked up again. This is just... experience. So that was a lag. We have Landon on the wall first, time 104.06. Jacob second, 107.58. John Figueroa, a great first time, 112.9. A really, really good time for his first time ever swimming this event at the varsity level. Fresh up from the modified team over winter break. So a lot of potential there. Hopefully we can look at some splits because he went out in a 33, came back in closer to a 40. Learn to spend that energy more efficiently and evenly over the course of the race and drop that time over the course of the season. We do have in lane 5 still Susquehanna Valley's Eli Valentine finishing up his race with just 25 yards left. Both teams suffering from a depleted roster tonight with COVID cases back on the rise. The schools have been cracking down about quarantining students for public health reasons. So both teams running several athletes short. One of the primary reasons I'm sure Susquehanna Valley is leaving this lane 1 open in a lot of races. All right, so since we're lacking a second camera, well, no, you're not going to be able to see the scoreboard from there. I'm sorry. We'll work on that to have that fixed before the next meet. But no way to see that. I can read off times to you. Lane 2, 107.58. Lane 3, 135.48. Lane 4, first place, 104.06. Lane 5, 220.76. Lane 6, 112.80. Up next, 100 freestyle. We have 3 heats of this event. 3 heats of the 100 freestyle. Starting with just Will Johnson and Will Austin. We got no swimmer in lane 2, no swimmers from Susquehanna Valley. We do have some changes because it looks like Aiden Wood, who was originally scheduled to be in lane 2, will be swimming this just in the next heat. So some last minute changes that didn't make it into our lineup here on screen. But we do have Will Austin lane 6 and Will Johnson lane 4. Those are still accurate. Will Johnson off to a strong lead in lane 4 here. A nice quick first 50, 28.68. Will Austin in the wall on lane 6, his split 38.99. Finishing first in this heat, Will Johnson, 101.41. Finishing right now, Will Austin, 120.78. Heat 2. This time we've got some swimmers from both teams. Lane 1, Tyler. Lane 2, Everett. Lane 3, Caleb Thompson. Lane 4, Ethan Austin. Lane 5, Shaughnessy McMahon. Lane 6, Aiden Wood. So again, different from the top of your screen there. Sorry for that. Sometimes changes get made at the last minute, so they don't make it into our broadcast software here. Four laps, another sprint freestyle event. This heat 2 of 3, will also not count for points, regardless of results. So the swimmer in, let's say, Lane 1 could have the fastest swim in this event all night, but unless they're in the final heat, it does not count. We do have Ethan Austin off to a significant lead here for Shenango Forks in Lane 4. Quite a race for second place, though, between lanes 2, 3, and 6. Ethan Austin coming in fast on this wall. Final time, 102.22. Aiden Wood, lane 6. Final time, 112.7. Everett Johnson, lane 2, final time, 114.85. Lane 3, Caleb Thompson from Susquehanna Valley. Final time, 116.99. Lane 5 from Susquehanna Valley, Shaughnessy McMahon. Final time, 132.63. Lane 6 from Susquehanna Valley. Lane 1 from Susquehanna Valley, Tyler Buchetto. Final time, 133.07. Great race, gentlemen. Up next, the final and scoring heat of the 100-yard freestyle. This is a sprint event. Four laps, as fast as you can go. Caleb McPeak there in lane 4 from Shenango Forks, coming in a very close second in the race we unfortunately missed when the camera froze earlier in the 50 freestyle. John Cadden, the winner of the 50 freestyle, not making an appearance in this race. Maybe opening up a spot for a Susquehanna Valley or another Forks winner, or maybe Caleb McPeak to claim that. We've got John Gregory in lane 6 from Forks, Cal Doig in lane 2 from Forks. Lane 1, Mason from Sus Valley. Lane 3, Jack from Sus Valley. Lane 5, Mark, Sus Valley. Here we go. Good strong starts. And we're off to the races. In a perfect world, you take a sprinter's 50 freestyle time, you double it, add a couple seconds for the start, but they do not get to repeat on laps 3 and 4, and that should be their time. But it is certainly harder to just hold that 50 sprint pace than it sounds. So Caleb, who goes around to 24, would be happy with any time in the low to mid 50s in this event. Double his time, 48. But you got to add some time for not having that start and obviously fatigue through the race. We'll see how he does. Right now, the clock is at 46 seconds. Caleb closing in on that wall. He'll get somewhere in the low 50s here. 51, 52, 53, and he's on the wall. Final time, 53.91 for Caleb McPeak. He's very excited about that time. Big splash of happiness there. Second place, Cal Doig, 57.61. Third place from Susquehanna Valley. Got Jack Burford. Final time, 1 minute, 0.29 seconds. Fourth place, lane 6 from Shenango Forks. It's John Gregory Lumsden, 101.75. Fifth place, Susquehanna Valley, 119.04. That's Mark Casado. Sixth place, Mason Nagel, lane 1, Susquehanna Valley, 130.01. Great race, gentlemen. Up next, the 500-yard freestyle. This is 20 laps. 20 laps. To help the boys keep track, they will have what's called a counter, someone kneeling at the other side of the pool. You can see them down there with panels. They're lining up, putting kickboards under their knees because they'll be kneeling for somewhere between 6 and 8 minutes. And the tile is certainly less comfortable than a foam kickboard. The counters will hold their plaque in the water, displaying the number of the lap that the swimmer is currently on. There's 20 laps here. The counter will go up to 17, and then on lap 19, they will flash red panels, signaling the sprinter to use whatever they've got left and finish this race with a bang. We've got Jack Vavra, freshman from Shenango Forks, lane 2. Trent Rose, Susquehanna Valley, lane 3. Dom Belcom, Shenango Forks, lane 4. Cody Olds, Susquehanna Valley, lane 5. Vince Vavra, senior from Shenango Forks, lane 6.
Here's up to the 100-yard freestyle. In fifth from SV Mark. Fourth from Shenango Forks Jonathan. Third from SV Jack. Second from Shenango Forks Callan. And first place from Shenango Forks, the winning time of 53.91. Caleb. Our next event will be the 500-yard freestyle. Starting lane 2 will be Jack from Shenango Forks. Lane 3, Trent from SV. Lane 4, Dom from Shenango Forks. Lane 5, Cody from SV. And lane 6, Vince from Shenango Forks.
Good news, everyone. We've got the timing system up and running on screen again. Hopefully it stays there. Please shoot me a text message or something if that freezes up, if either of the screens freeze up. But for right now, here in the 500, just in time to watch this clock slowly tick up for the next 7 or 8 minutes, we've got a timing system back on screen and working. So 20 laps for each of these gentlemen. Dom Belcom, a sophomore, experienced distance swimmer from Shenango Forks, out to an early lead. Freshman Jack Vavra chasing him, as well as a swimmer from Susquehanna Valley in lane 3. Trent Rose staying in the race right here with Dom and Jack as well. Okay, Dom Belcom over halfway through this race and on turn 11 down there for Shenango Forks right in the middle in lane 4. Jack Vavra starting to pull a little bit away from Trent in lane 2 versus lane 3. See how this race continues to play out. Again, 20 laps is a long time. Anything can happen. All right. Coming down the home stretch, closing it a little bit on the end of this race. Dom Belcom still solidly off to a lead. Coming in on turn 17, Vincent Vavra, turn 15. Lane 5 from Susquehanna Valley, that's Cody Olds, turn 13. Jack Vavra now coming in on turn 17. And Trent Rose just finishing turn 15, so he's in here on lane 3 with 100 yards to go. That horn means Dom Belcom has 50 yards to go in first place. I know the timing system view is a little crooked, but I dare not mess with anything. We've got it up and running, and we're just going to leave it as is. Sorry if that bothers you, but it is what it is. We've got Dom Belcom powering through the end of this race. As a coach, you'll want to see him spend the energy a little more efficiently, but as a spectator, it's fun to watch him burn that energy here at the end. Huge splashes, big bursts of speed there at the end. That's a race 5:23.27 from Dominic Belcom, Shenango Forks. Trent into his last 50 for Susquehanna Valley. Jack Vavra, also a burst of energy here at the end. Coming in hot in lane 2. Great time, 6:40.19. It's really nice to see from a freshman. And a Shenango Forks distance program that has been a little worse for the wear, lacking the depth we need to perform competitively from a distance scale at the sectional level. It's nice to see these underclassmen coming in with competitive times. They'll knock off plenty of time over the next 3 or 4 years of their careers. Maybe they stay with the 500. Maybe they end up in another event. There's Trent Rose powering through to the wall, lane 3. Final time, 7:08. Right behind him, Vincent Vavra. Lane 6, 7:11.85. We've got Cody Olds, lane 5. Still working on his race. He's got one more 50. Red panels switching over down there in lane 5. They'll be held in the water for Cody, and he will know that he's got, by the time he sees them, 25 yards left in his race. Here he goes. Nice long, even stroke from Cody. This is actually what coaches prefer to see in a race, a consistent pace, a much more efficient use of energy than saving, and burning it at the end. He's got a very pretty stroke, nice and long strokes, getting a lot of distance per stroke out of his arms there. Great race from Cody. Nice sportsmanship high five from Vincent in lane 6, and that will conclude the 500. We'll let swimmers catch their breath for a minute here. They will hop out, and we will go into the fun relay of the meets. One of the fun relays, the 200 freestyle relay. How this works, each team makes teams of 4 swimmers at a time. Each of those teams of 4 has athletes sprinting 50 yards. It's 4 swimmers tying together sprint 50s as fast as they can. What kind of depth does each team have in the sprinting category? Well, let's find out. In lane 1 from Susquehanna Valley, Eli Valentine, Mason Nagel, Acadian Salisbury, and Alexander Willick. Lane 2, Forks, Jacob Zidell, Cooper Confer, Liam Humphrey, Ethan Austin. Lane 3, Susquehanna Valley, Anthony DeRosa, Jack Burford, Trent Rose, Willem Saratani. There we go. Lane 4, Shenango Forks, Landon Getz, Thomas Hillis, John Cadden, Aiden Hopkins. Lane 5, Susquehanna Valley, Cody Olds. Please give that man a break. Hopefully he doesn't have to go first. He just finished the 500. Ethan Nemkonski, Chad Lanehart, Mark Casado. Lane 6, Shenango Forks, Corey Pospisil, Alex Chapman, Will Austin, Everett Johnson. Swimmers are allowed in this relay to change the order of their swimming without notifying an official, without notifying a coach. They are allowed to move it around, so maybe some of these swimmers that just got out of the 500 or the 100 before that, getting that extra minute of rest by going 3rd or 4th in this relay, something to give them some energy. What that long stroke suggested is Cody back in first in lane 5. Meanwhile, it's Landon Getz, lane 4, Shenango Forks. As a previous distance swimmer, by the way, I'm empathizing with Cody over there. Having to get out of a distance race and immediately into a sprint event is no joke. Very, very difficult. Landon Getz in the wall first. Tommy Hillis, lane 4. Susquehanna Valley in the mix here. We've got lanes 2, 3, and 4 all hugging each other right now. Shenango Forks with about half a body length lead. But Susquehanna Valley right on his hips. Tommy's got him on the turn, but Susquehanna Valley's gaining. Going 3rd. This is 50 freestyle winner today, John Cadden off the blocks. Starting time, 52:67. 24-second split would put him at 126. Let's see where 116. Math is hard. Let's see where he lands. 116.13. That's a great time from John Cadden. Wrapping this up from Shenango Forks, Aiden Hopkins. Lane 4. Starting out 116.13. What kind of split can he produce? Meanwhile, a very tight race between lanes 2 and 3. Susquehanna Valley with a slight edge. Ooh, Aiden Hopkins under 24 seconds on the 50 freestyle. It's a great split from Aiden. I don't know if he knows it yet, but when that time comes out at the end of the meet on a sheet of paper, he's going to be thrilled. My mental math, that's a 23.80 for Aiden Hopkins. That's a very fast split. Lane 3, 2nd place from Susquehanna Valley. Lane 2, 3rd place, Shenango Forks. The rest of these racers finishing up right now will be Susquehanna Valley in 4th. Shenango Forks in 5th. Susquehanna Valley in 6th. So a nice even spread. Forks 135. Susquehanna Valley 246. Great work, gentlemen. It's a fun event to watch. Up next, 100-yard backstroke. Lane 2, Will Johnson, freshman from Shenango Forks. Lane 3, Chad Lanehart, Susquehanna Valley. Lane 4, Captain Evan O'Brien from Shenango Forks. Lane 5, Benjamin Pauline from Susquehanna Valley. Lane 6, rookie John Figueroa, 8th grader, pulled up for his butterfly abilities, but let's see how he does in the backstroke.
First place, Shenango Forks, with a winning time of 1:38.96 to Landon, Tommy, John, and Aiden.
The results for the 200 freestyle relay. Winning team from Shenango Forks: Landon, Tommy, John Cadden, Aiden.
Swing lane 3 from Susquehanna Valley, Chad. Swing lane 4 from Shenango Forks, Evan. Swing lane 5 from Susquehanna Valley, Ben. Swing lane 6 from Shenango Forks, Johnny.
They will start in the water for this backstroke event. Evan O'Brien putting on a nose plug over there in lane 4. Lets him stay underwater. Normally on your back, you have to worry about water going into your nostrils. So you have to come up sooner as you run out of air. But Evan putting on a nose plug prevents that issue. You see him with a very powerful underwater up in lane 4. Now, meanwhile, Will Johnson's not letting him get away at the start of this race. Keeping it tight, but Evan's just incredible arm speed is going to give him a great advantage. Really good underwaters. Way back as a modified swimmer years ago, Evan O'Brien had really good underwaters. Since then, he's toyed around with shortening and extending the distance of those underwaters to see what's most efficient, but we see him staying under, being successful in doing so. It's John Figueroa and Will Johnson, both very, very young swimmers on this team, an 8th and a 9th grader in 2nd and 3rd right now. Both slowing their arm speed. The 100 backstroke is really a test of how powerful your shoulders are and how much upper body endurance you have. Can you do what Evan's doing over there in lane 4 successfully? Just keep those arms moving at a high tempo no matter what. Evan landing perfectly on the wall there. Lane 4, excellent time, 104.94. He's going to be happy with that. John Figueroa, lane 6, huge time, 113.39. Will Johnson, 116.23. Shenango Forks sweeping the event. Meanwhile, Susquehanna Valley's swimmer in lane 5, that's Benjamin Pauline, coming in hot on this wall, finishing on the back. Perfect. 4th place, Susquehanna Valley, lane 3. Chad Lanehart coming in strong, lane 3 here, finishing on the back, and great work. Sometimes you worry about, it's more at the modified level than the varsity one, swimmers without the experience rolling onto their front to see that wall as they finish, but that would be a disqualification. All 5 swimmers correctly staying on their back, finishing on the wall without being able to see it. You notice there's flags hanging across the pool. The reason for that is a sight marker for backstrokers. They know when they see those flags, when they swim under those flags, they're exactly 15 feet from the wall, and then you just learn how many strokes it takes you to travel 15 feet, count it down, and land with your hand on the wall without actually seeing it. 100-yard breaststroke. We've got Cody Olds, lane 1. Liam Humphrey, lane 2. Anthony DeRosa, lane 3. They're announcing 2 heats, but I think we may only have 1. We'll see. Well, maybe not. We have 2 heats of the 100-yard breaststroke. This is a change. So I know that's Thomas Kapanis in lane 4. Let's see what we got here. Paxton Root maybe in lane 3 from Susquehanna Valley. Hopefully I've got that right. 100-yard breaststroke. A very technically difficult stroke. More power from the legs in this stroke than any other. Less reliant on the arms. And it's all about timing. Learning to time the pull and the kick opposite one another so that one or the other is always moving you forward while the other is recovering. That timing is certainly tricky to learn, difficult to master. But both swimmers demonstrating a firm understanding of that timing here in this race. Thomas Kapanis halfway through the race, lane 4, off with a split of 41.5. Paxton Root, lane 3, 50.96 on his 50 split. The other part of this stroke is you want to have a good glide, especially in the 100-yard distance. As the kick whips around, you want to make sure your upper body is in a tight streamline. And use that momentum generated by the kick to power you forward without losing speed to drag. So you want to get those arms in tight, those shoulders behind them. We'll see some more of that in Heat 2 here. But right now it's Thomas Kapnis on the wall first. Lane 4 for Shenango Forks. New to the breaststroke, Thomas is, so he's going to be happy with that time. 1:30. And Paxton coming into the wall, Susquehanna Valley, lane 3. Time of 1:52. Great work. Now, we got the correct lane assignments up here. We've got Emerson Moore, lane 6. Willem, lane 5. Aiden Hopkins, lane 4. Anthony DeRosa, lane 3. Liam Humphrey, lane 2. Cody Olds, closest to us, lane 1. And Cody has swam 3 out of the Fast 4 events. It's a tough run. You're only allowed to swim 4 events in the varsity meet. Swimming 3 of them so close to each other must be exhausting. Aiden Hopkins just out of that relay a moment ago, though, so he'll be a little tired. I'm sure a lot of these swimmers are out of that relay. With each team putting in 12 people, you're going to have some repeaters. Aiden Hopkins, a very strong breaststroker from Shenango Forks down here in lane 4. Doing underwater pullouts to allow himself to come almost halfway down the pool before breaking the surface. He's got a nice tight streamline and pullout that allow him to preserve the speed he generates from his turn off this wall. Let's watch him do it here. So he's underwater, glides it out, a nice powerful pull, brings him to the white mark on the lane line, and then he kicks and pulls it up to the surface and gets into his stroke. Got Liam Humphrey racing both of Susquehanna Valley swimmers here for second place, but it is Susquehanna Valley to a lead in that race in lane 3. Liam clinging on as what he's got left, but every stroke a little farther behind. So Susquehanna Valley looking like they're going to take second and third. Now, which of them will get second? Yet to be determined. It's been lane 3, but lane 5 making a move here. You see that nice long glide we're talking about. Trying to preserve that energy from the kick. It is lane 3. The hands on the wall a little faster. Lane 5 just behind him by tenths of a second. Liam Humphrey, freshman in lane 2. 4th place with a very nice time of 1:22.40. Emerson Moore, lane 6. But as he finishes that race, rolls out. He knows it. Punches his hand on the water. He rolled it out and did what we call a one-hand touch. Coach Starr over there, obviously hand signaling him. He knows what happened. Emerson knows what happened. It's a mistake we've all made. Cody in lane 6, 5th place, 1:39.32. Great race. Sure, thanks. We got it up and running, so I'll put it on the table for you. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay. Last race, the 400 freestyle relay. Much like the other 2 relays, you got teams of 4, but this time a little more mid-distance as opposed to raw sprinting. You got 4 swimmers doing 100 yards each. Still basically a sprint, but a little more endurance involved. It's more their turn to start and a finish. This time they've got to do 4 laps down and back as opposed to just 2. Trying to get some names for you here. Lane 2, Shenango Forks, Jack Vavra, Will Johnson, Thomas Kapanis, John Gregory. Lane 3, Susquehanna Valley, Jack Burford, Ethan Nemkonsky, Mark Casado, Trent Rose. Lane 4, Shenango Forks, Tommy Hillis, Cal Doig, John Cadden, Caleb McPeak. Lane 5, Susquehanna Valley, Chad Lanehart, Mason Nagel, Acadian Salisbury, Alexander Wallach. Lane 6, Shenango Forks, Rory Brennan, Aiden Wood, Vince Vavra, Conley Mallory.
Swinging lane 4 from Shenango Forks, Tommy, Kevin, John, Caleb.
Here we go. The final race of the evening. 400-yard freestyle relay. 4 swimmers, each doing 100 yards of sprint freestyle. They are off the blocks. Unlike previous relays where they go down and back, this time they'll do 4 laps before exchanging with the next swimmer. This is one of those races at 400 yards where we won't even begin to make predictions on how the chips will fall on this one until much later. But in the beginning, we've got Jack Vavra and Tommy Hillis racing each other for first place as it is right now. Keeping it close between them, Jack Vavra with a slight lead in lane 2. He'll be having Will Johnson going after him. It's Cal Doig in lane 4 for Forks, going in after Tommy Hillis. Nice time from Jack Vavra, under a minute, 59.81. Good to see from the freshman. He's happy, a little fist pump in the air, and out of the water nice and fast. They've got to touch that wall and get in or get out within 15 seconds. Anything longer with that, and you risk making the touchpad fire again, thinking someone touched it while they were in the water as you step on it to climb out, but clean exchanges. It's Rory Brennan finishing in lane 6 from Forks. Cal Doig making up some ground in lane 4, taking the lead. Will Johnson lost his goggles. We hate to see it, but again, we've all been there. So making his way through this race blind, eyes sealed shut, just feeling his way through, trying not to bump into anything. Swimming remarkably straight for someone with no vision. He's got a nice balanced stroke. Meanwhile, Cal Doig able to go full speed there in lane 4, really taking advantage of that, pushing this lead. It's John Cadden in lane 4 from Shenango Forks. We expect to see a nice fast split from him here. John Cadden, currently the fastest person in this meet with the victory in the 50-yard freestyle. The Usain Bolt of this varsity swim meet tonight. So we'll see how he does. Starting at 1:59, we'll see John Cadden post a nice, probably low to mid 50s split. Now, 100 times at the end of the meet here, last event, everyone's gassed. Typically going to be slower than a sprinter's best time, but John with a decently fast rotation of the arms, powering through. Thomas Kapanis in the water lane 2 for Shenango Forks. Got Vincent Vavra in lane 6 for Shenango Forks. Up next will be Conway Mallory. John Cadden out of the water. 2:55, so a 56-second split. 55, 56, somewhere in that region, depending on the hundredths. Caleb McPeak wrapping up this race for Shenango Forks, lane 4. Thomas Kapanis out of the water, lane 2. It's John Gregory finishing up this race for them. Conway Mallory on the blocks. About to go is the last swimmer in lane 6. Windsor's lane 3 making their final exchange here. Caleb McPeak on the wall. Final time 2:50.29, ending the race. Second place. It's going to be lane 2. John Gregory on the wall for Forks. Windsor still with the 50 left. Shenango Forks lane 6 still with the 50 left. A close race between the two of these lanes after 4.5 minutes. It's nice to see them this close. Lane 5 from Windsor off the blocks to do 100 yards. It's probably Alexander Wallach, but again, swimmers are allowed to change their order in here, so I'm just guessing. It's a close race for third place. But Susquehanna Valley's gonna clinch it. Lane 3, ending the race. A nice time of 4:56.68. Lane 6, fourth place, 4:59.70. And lane 3, 150 left to go. Wrapping up their race, wrapping up this meet. And with Alex Wallach coming in to finish this race, that will wrap up tonight's competition between the Shenango Forks Blue Devils and the Susquehanna Valley Sabres. Thank you for joining us for tonight's competition. We've got a home meet coming up for the modified swim team this Thursday, so we'll see you there. Have a good night.